Good morning and welcome to the Fairy Coach Tarot channel. My name is Raquel. Thank you for being here. Today is Thursday, and like every Thursday, we have a look at chakras and energy. All right. Now, today we're not going to do an entire chakra spread, that those are longer, but we're going to focus on our throat chakra. Last week we focused on our third eye, and today we're going to focus on our throat chakra, that is our communication and our expression, right? We have the three fairies, the pink, the blue, and the yellow, and we have three beautiful decks, very different, but very beautiful again. And so we're going to look at the main energy around our throat chakra at this time, right? What is the advice from spirit? What is the guidance? And then we are going to look at any potential blockages or things that could cause a block around that flow of energy, as well as the recommended steps so that we should take in order to honor our truth and help that energy flow well. All right. So before we get started, let's release tension, ground, center, and connect with the breath. I always suggest that you are in a place where you're going to be undisturbed, so your attention can be focused on the video or the cards. When we focus our attention on something and when we are mindfully present, we connect energetically with whoever is speaking or with the moment, right? With that place. So we cannot be in the same physical place right now, but by focusing your attention on this video, then you can be connected no matter when you watch it. All right. Now let's ground, let's plant those feet on the floor and wiggle our toes a little bit, right? If that feels good to you, just follow along. And then we imagine those roots growing from the soles of our feet and connecting to the earth, right? That the earth is our home, and by letting go of energy into the earth, we clean our energy, we let go of things that do not serve us, whatever we are carrying, that it's not ours to carry, or any tension, right? And now put both palms of your hands right on the heart chakra, right in the middle of your chest. Take a deep breath, right? Feel that heart chakra, that love energy. And let's infuse this video and each other with love energy. Remember, love heals us. And when we heal ourselves and help heal each other, we are also healing the planet and changing the vibration of what's going on in the planet. So it's important to vibrate with the energy of love. Now let's take a deep inhale through the nose together. Let's inhale, hold, and gently let go, elongating that exhale. All right, feeling more grounded and centered. Let's roll the shoulders back, move gently the neck from side to side and front to back. All right, now pick the deck or the fairy that you are called to intuitively. Ready? All right, let's get started with the pink fairy. If you need more time, remember you can pause the video and continue. All right. Now you've picked a very interesting deck. Let me tell you, this is the vice versa deck. And it's similar to the Tarot of Oppositions I had on a video not long ago, in which the card showed the light aspect and the shadow aspect. Well, this is very similar. So this is the back of the card that shows the shadow aspect, and this is the front of the card that shows the light aspect, right? So this would be what a reversed card for those of you who have been with tarot readers that use reversals. Now, I do not do reversals. The reason because I do find enough information in the card. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith base card. So I read it as it was painted like this, right? Now, my style is I combine my training as a tarotist, as a professional tarot reader. I've had different teachers and trainings, as well as I'm an intuitive reader, right? So for me, I use tarot as that conversation with the divine giving us signs. So I do not use reversals for that reason, because depending on what the card is in the spread or what cards it has around, it gives me more than enough information. So you will find equally, I would say, as many tarot readers that tell you they do read reversals, just as many that they tell you they do not read reversals. So at the end of the day, is just most what each reader chooses to do. All right. So, but it is a very loving deck. It's very interesting. So, what would be the shadow aspect? I see it as the back of the card. So, that's why we have it like this. This would be the light aspects or the front, right? So, this is what you will see while I'm shuffling, and then I'll turn them around. All right. But now let's set the intention. Tell the cards and tell Spirit what it is that we want at this time. So, we set the intention. Please give us guidance, advice, and insight into our throat chakra, into the energy around what needs to be expressed and what needs to be communicated. Also, any possible blocks, right, that we're facing or that we could face. And what next steps are recommended so we can honor our truth and allow that energy to flow well. And we ask in love, in light, for our highest good. And so it is. All right, let's get started. All right, we have the first card, the energy around it, and now the blocks. All right. And last, we have the recommended steps. Oh, and we got two cards here. We honor all the cards that want to come out, remember, in this channel. So let's see the main energies, and you get to see the back of the card. So this would be the back of the Ace of Pentacles. So see, this is one way. This would be the front of the card. All right, so the Ace of Pentacles is such a lovely card. And I don't want to say positive or negative because, as I always say too, that the tarot cards do have their lights and their shadows, just like we all do, right? So let's see what the Ace of Pentacles tells us about the energy around our throat chakra. And this is an opportunity. Here we are in the earth element and we have the ace, so it's this opportunity. And this is the opportunity we have energetically around us right now, the opportunity to say something that is going to have an impact on our physical reality, right? So think about what is something that you feel you really need to say, right? Something that's weighing in your heart that you feel, I really need to talk about this. So, whatever that is, when you answer that question to yourself, whatever that is, Spirit is telling you there is an opportunity in front of you to say what needs to be said. And what you say is going to have an impact on your physical reality, right? So it is important to say. I believe very strongly that expressing and communicating is vital for our health and for our overall well-being, not only energetically, right? So now there are different ways in we express ourselves, or each person has one way that they feel more comfortable. For some is communication, like talking, oral communication. For others, it could be written, or for others, it's art. But whatever it is, remember what you do not let go of, those things that you need, you know they need to be communicated, you're not expressing, you are creating blocks by not letting go of them. So spirit is telling you right now more than ever, you have an opportunity to say something that could have an impact on your physical reality, right? A positive impact. So whatever you feel that needs to be said right now is a good moment. Take this opportunity. When you are handed the opportunity, if somebody asks you, is there something you want to tell me? Or what are you thinking about this? Or we need to talk. Take these as signs. I need to express myself. All right. I need to honor my truth. Right. So not only you have the go ahead here, is that spirit's telling you that right now this opportunity to express yourself and talk and communicate will have a positive impact on your physical reality, because we are on the earth element, right? And this is an ace. So now let's look at possible blockages. And you're seeing the back of the card that I hope YouTube doesn't block this card because of the imagery. I hope we are past all of this, but we will see. So this is Major Arcana 20 Judgment card. And here you have the front, the light aspect, the shadow aspect, or the back of the card. All right. So now, Major Arcana, major advice. You know, I always give a double knock telling you Major Arcana, major advice. So, what is the world telling us, right? What is the world, this card, the spirit of the world, telling us towards blockages or possible blocks of energy here when it comes to communication? So, the world is a card that I'm sorry, I'm saying the world, and I'm like, why am I saying the world? I mean judgment. The world is 21. Sorry, let go of that. Yeah, judgment. I do not know why I was saying the wrong thing. It's like the world. No, it's judgment card. So forget about that. I know what card I'm looking at. I was just putting the wrong word with it. So judgment card. So judgment card is a card that looks into the past, right? So it is an opportunity for us to look into the past and remember what lessons we learned. Take accountability and responsibility for our past so we can move forward, right? So what does the I keep saying the world card. My goodness, I'm sorry. My words today. What is the judgment card telling you towards this main energy of that Ace of Pentacles, right? So the judgment card is telling you are being, so we have that you are being offered an opportunity energetically to express yourself, and it will be something very positive towards changing your physical reality, towards your life right now. And the judgment card is saying the possible blocks that you have here with this is that there are things in your past that need to be examined. Because it is a major arcana card, what is saying is that it is something that it's important to look at. So looking at your past, right, when you're presented with an opportunity to say something, and I asked you earlier, what is it that you think you need to say? What is that conversation that you need, that green light, that go ahead of talk about it? And the judgment card is saying there is something in your past that may be causing blockages, right? So it could be something as you have a bad experience talking with this particular person, if there is a person you need to communicate with. Why? Because either they get angry or they shut down or they give you the silent treatment or they ignore you, whatever it is, right, is something that has created that fear or that kind of block that makes it hard to communicate. And this card is telling you, go to the origin, go to the past when this began, right? If it is the issue is with this particular person, or there is another issue that has to do with not feeling confident communicating, not feeling confident speaking up, right? So, and the judgment card says it's time right now to address those things from the past that are blocking what's coming in the present, because it's important that you communicate and you take this opportunity. But the blocks are in the past. So looking into the past of, ask yourself when looking at what you would like to express right now, what you would like to communicate, ask yourself, what happened in the past that's making this hard for me? Does it have to do with the way the person reacts when I speak? Or is it because I do not feel confident? So ask questions to yourself. Your brain actually loves when you ask questions. So ask questions that make you generate those answers. Now, Spirit's telling you, good opportunity right now, but you need to look into the past to let go of blockages that are impacting your communication and the energy around your throat chakra. The answers to this are in your past. Now, what are the advice moving forward, those recommended steps so we can honor our truth, take the opportunities to communicate so we can change things in our life? And the cards that show up are the Eight of Swords, and look who we have here, the King of Swords. Look at this. How interesting is this? We're talking about communication, and we got two of the biggest communication cards. Now, these are the backs, right? The shadow aspects, and these are the fronts. Now, the Eight of Swords answers the call first, and the King would be supporting this card. So, what is the Eight of Swords telling us when it's coming to the how to honor our truth and what steps to take towards our communication? Now, this is a card that, yes, she seems to be unable to move. She seems stuck, surrounded by swords. Now, remember, swords is the air element. So, what is stopping her right now? Her own fears, her own thoughts, right? So when we say, how do I honor my truth? What are the steps I should take? Address your fears, right? The first thing you have to do is address those fears. And look, it already told you, your fears in the present have to do with those blocks from the past. So healing those wounds that you have that make you so fearful, right? If it is because the person you need to communicate with has bad reactions, then the lesson here and what we need to heal from the past is not be afraid of that, because who you have to honor is yourself and your truth, right? If you're communicating from your truth and communicating assertively. And remember, assertively is not aggressively and is not passively. It's assertively. If you're communicating assertively, respectfully, and honoring yourself, if the other person has an issue with that, that's something they need to solve themselves. But Your responsibility is towards your energy and towards honoring your truth. So the first step to take moving forward is to address your fears and to heal those things from the past, or to address those things from the past that are causing you blocks, but take the opportunity moving forward. Now we have the King of Swords as well supporting this card here. And who's the king? The king is this divine masculine energy who is very practical, very mature, extremely assertive, wonderful how they communicate, great communicator. And what is the king saying? Once you address those fears, right, and you empower yourself, even he's a strategic. So even strategize what you want to say. You can even if there is a conversation that right now for sure you know you need to have, you can even plan it, right, for yourself, practice it, and then deliver, honoring your truth, right, honoring yourself and not being fearful. So let's recap this very fast. Spirit is saying there is an opportunity that by communicating what you need to communicate, your reality will change in a positive way, because it's an Ace of Pentacles. Now it's an opportunity, it's a seed, right? So this tells you the energies, right? But at the end of the day, you have the gift of choice and the gift of free will. So the way I read tarot, and you've heard this before if you've been watching this channel now for a while, is that I don't do predictive in the sense of this is what's going to happen. Why? Because the future is fluid, and we change the future by the choices we make. That's why it's so empowering. We can create, we can manifest, right? We are in the image of our creator, in that we can create and co-create with the spirit. So that's why it's not predictive, right? Now, the way I use it is divinatory. Now, not divination as in prediction, divination as a conversation with the divine, right? In which we ask for signs, and then we ask the right questions, and we make the choices we feel are best for us. So Spirit's telling us you have an opportunity, and by this opportunity, by speaking up, by making sure you communicate, this most likely will change your reality in ways that are beneficial for you. Now, you have blocks in the past that need to be addressed. The Judgment card tells you there are blocks in the past regarding the communication. So asking, what is it that has happened that makes me fearful now? Because the first step moving forward is to address your fears and grow more confident, and just like this king, speak up assertively, maturely, and honoring your truth. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. And also remember, this is a general reading for the collective. So if you want us to look at your particular situation, all right, then please reach out or go to the link that I leave you on the description below. That's my website or my Gumroad storefront, and we can book an online session where we can really dig in at your particular situation. I have live sessions as well as pre-recorded readings. So go to the link in the description. Now let's go with the blue fairy. All right. All right, here we have the blue fairy for those of you who picked this one and this larger deck with beautiful images. You'll see. Let's move the energy around for the cards. Give it a double knock to wake them up. And now set the intention. Please give us guidance, insight, and advice towards our throat chakra, what we need to communicate and say, and to make that energy flow well. Also, what blockages are there for us, and what steps are recommended to honor our truth. And we ask in love, in light, for our highest good. And so it is. Now this is a bigger deck, so we're gonna do it like this. Oops. Let's go again, because all right, these bigger decks are a little bit more difficult. You see, they do not fit very well to do this way. I guess we could, but let's do it this way. I believe it's easier. All right, now the blockages that Spirit is telling us. All right, blockages. And here we are looking at the recommended next steps. All right, so very straightforward, one card for each. Let's see who answers our call. All right, the Page of Cups. All right, we have the Page, Growth, Cups, Water Element. And what is this card telling us towards our throat chakra energy and what Spirit wants us to know? All right, Spirit wants us to know that right now there may be a way that we need to express something that it is emotionally dense, right? This is cups, this is our emotions, and the Page is saying there is a conversation that needs to be had that will help you grow emotionally, and that it is important for a relationship in your life, right? And it could be any type of relationship. It doesn't have to be intimate, but there is an emotional conversation that will help the relationship grow and you also to grow and learn from it. So when I tell you this, of the energy that's around and what Spirit's saying, who is someone that comes to mind that you feel that you need to have a conversation with, right? Even it could be a conversation that is emotional, that is emotionally charged, let's say, but that you know that this conversation needs to be had, right? And whoever comes to mind, think of this conversation as a way of the two of you coming together, right? And for the relationship to grow as well as for you to grow. So when you do have this conversation, approach it the same way. Approach it with that growth mentality of, I want this, set that intention. I want this relationship to grow out of having this conversation. And I also want to grow. All right. Now let's see what possible blocks do we have. Oh, the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands, right? We have here fire energy and the eight that is usually you see these 8 wands going really fast, right? So what would be a blocks around our communication or that energy around our throat chakra? So the Eight of Wands, what advice would it be giving you? And it is that the conversation that the Spirit is wanting you to have, that conversation with someone in your life to either repair a relationship, to grow in the relationship, that it will help you, although it's an emotional conversation. This needs to happen fast, right? Because what happens is that the more you sit with it and you ignore it, the more the momentum passes. So the potential block that there could be is that you do not take initiative and you do not take the momentum, and the moment is going to pass, and then it could be harder for this possibility to mend this relationship or to grow this relationship through conversation could pass. So this means it's time to get it done, right? The block is not to listen to the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands wants you to go fast, go do it, right? And says by taking too much of a passive approach, it could create a potential block of the energy, or it could not have the possibility that this is bringing you. Now, What about how to honor our truth? What are the next steps recommended? And here we have the 10 of Pentacles. And now we move to the earth element. We had water element, fire element, and earth element. And it is the earth element and the 10, right? And the 10 of Pentacles is the card of the culmination of everything we want. It's just like such a beautiful card. But this 10 of Pentacles is asking you that the step to take right now is to really envision the results that you want. So if you are going to have a difficult conversation with somebody, or just a conversation because you want to mend the relationship or grow the relationship, or it's a conversation that needs to be had that is somehow emotional, that the first step to do is to actually envision what is the result, right? So do not sit with fears, with anything that, with self-doubt, because sometimes that's why the Eight of Wands wants us to go fast. Because sometimes when the more we think about something that we know needs to be done, then it creates self-doubt, and then it doesn't happen, and that's when the blockage comes. So the 10 of Pentacles very easily is telling you, have that conversation, focus on what's the result, right? What do you want out of this? In the case of the example I put, what you want is a stronger relationship, to mend things, for things to go well, for things to grow, right? And for this, envision what it is, the result that you want, and also ask yourself your why. Why is it necessary? Why do I want this? Why do I need to have this conversation, right? Focus and envision the result. And what I would recommend here is to do a visualization exercise, right? Just take, even if it's taking less than 5 minutes, and just even before you go to bed, that's a great moment in which you close your eyes and you visualize the result that you want. What will happen when you have that conversation? Visualize that. So that's how to honor the truth, and first your truth, that first next step. So remember, recap. Conversation needs to be had that will help you grow as a human being, but it also will mend the relationship or will help that relationship grow. It is an emotional conversation, but it is important. And please do not waste time and have it soon, because if not, the momentum passes. And visualize the outcome, visualize what you want. And that's that first step. Visualize what you want and go prepare to that conversation. All right, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this message. All right, and if you want us to look more in depth at your particular situation, go to the link in the description below and make an appointment for a live session with me, or get a pre-recorded reading. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out and ask. I am more than happy to answer any questions. Now, let's look at the yellow fairy. All right, let's look at the yellow fairy. And this other deck, this one has a Celtic type of style, right? Let's move the energy, give it a double knock, and set the intention. Please give us guidance, advice, and insight for our throat chakra, for those things we need to communicate and express. Also, give us a look at the obstacles, right? Those blocks that we may be facing or we could potentially face, as well as the recommended steps to honor our truth and move forward in love, in light, for our highest good. All right. Oh, 2 cards came out for the main guidance. And 2 more cards for those blocks. And now let's look at And two more cards for the step forwards. All right. You know that I honor all the cards that want to come out. When there is more than one, we honor that. All right. So let's look at who answers for the main energy. And look at this. All right. Interesting. So we have two major arcana cards here. We have the Hierophant, right? And we have the Judgment card again. Two major arcana, two major advice. All right. So what are the cards telling us here? What is the Spirit wants us to know, right? All right, so the Hierophant is learning, right? It could be help from somebody who helps us learn and evolve, or things that are important for us to know. Judgment help us point into the past, right? So how do we put these two cards together right now in reading? What is it that Spirit wants us to know towards what needs to be communicated, or our throat chakra energy? So a Spirit wants you to know that right now it is important not to jump into communication really fast, in the sense that if there is something that you want to say, right, that you feel that needs to be said, it is about not being impulsive about it, not jumping on it really fast, but actually gathering more information. So not only about observing, but planning your conversation, really getting advice, right? So if there is somebody in your life that you value their advice, or even a professional, say, hey, I need to have this conversation. What's the best approach? How can I do this? So the Hierophant wants you to gather more information before you have that conversation and you communicate or express that thing that you feel is important. It is not to do it. It is just not to do it impulsively. Gather more information, get advice, and do it right. And the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is, there is a card that usually that makes us look into the past, right? And in this way, it is pointing at having to look into the past, either a conversation, a similar conversation we've had before, or even about other interactions we've had with this person we need to communicate. And he's saying, right now, gather those lessons, right? What you know about communicating with this person, or what you've learned about your interactions with this person, and then get advice or prepare well to have a conversation with them. Do not be impulsive. Do not jump heads first here, but pace yourself. Do it smart. Be clever about it, right? Be very clever about the conversation you want to have. That's how you help right now the energy in your throat chakra. There is a conversation that needs to be had, but do not do it impulsively. Prepare for it. Ask for advice, right? Even look in the past at your interactions with this person, or old conversations that can give you good pointers of how to approach it, right? So do it wisely and cleverly. And now, what are the potential obstacles or blocks, right? And we have, wow, the Ace of Cups. And look at this, the Empress. All right. Very interesting cards for blocks. All right. So the Ace of Cups, right? What this is the water element, and here this ace is telling you, so something that could potentially be a block, right, is leading with emotion, right, becoming too emotional, right? And the Empress, major arcana, major advice, adds to this by saying it's not only about being emotional, but trying to be too accommodating, too nurturing, right? So it is saying it's not a time, right, to let emotions lead first. honor your heart as well, honor what needs to be said, but do not let the heart and your emotions lead the way. You know, you can be gentle, you can be kind, right? But do not allow your being overly emotional to lead the conversations you have, right? You need to lead your conversations wisely, but not becoming overly emotional. So when you become overly emotional, what happens is that you become overly invested, right? And it depends who you're speaking with. They can use whatever the reactions are, that their reactions are their business, but whatever they react when we are too emotionally invested, too vulnerable, that can really hurt us, right? So the cards are saying communicate, plan well, look into the past about the interactions you've had with this person or conversations before to learn to prepare well for this conversation you want to have. Honor your heart, but do not lead with being overly emotional or overly accommodating, right? Just remember to take care of yourself and protect your heart in the conversation you want to have. That would be the main thing here. In order not to create a block, protect your heart and prepare well, looking at past interactions, maybe even with this person. And what are the recommended steps to moving forward? And here we do have the Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor. All right, so we have the Queen of Pentacles, that it is this very grounded queen, right? This is divine feminine energy that we have here, divine feminine energy in the Empress, very grounded, right? And then we have the Emperor, major arcana, major advice. So what are the first steps moving forward? So the first steps would be to really be very grounded. What means is to be very regulated, very grounded. So understand that if you are not centered, what happens is that you get emotionally invested, and any conversation that it becomes too emotional, you lose your power. So right now you're protecting your heart, you're preparing, right? Take advice before having the conversation. Do not be impulsive and stay very grounded. That's the first step to take. Be very grounded. And then the Emperor says, the Emperor is that energy of the four, of energy of stability and structure, is to also, like the King of Swords was saying before, plan your conversation strategically, right? So prepare. So let's put it together this way. Imagine a conversation that you know that you need to have, right? Something that you know you want to talk about with someone. Now, do not jump impulsively, right? Get advice, any advice from somebody you know, or preparing, right? Look into the past interactions with this person or similar conversations you've had and what lessons can you learn. So do not be impulsive. Now, honor your heart, but do not lead the conversation with emotion or becoming too emotional, because right now it's about protecting your heart, practicing that self-care around you. So you still have the conversation, but the other person, however they respond, doesn't wound you. And the first steps to take here is to be very grounded, to be very grounded in yourself, grounded in your energy, right? Take the next steps gently. So be gentle, right? Be grounded in that you are not too emotional, and prepare what you're going to say. So again, Do not be impulsive. This is what the cards are saying, and they're saying this with a lot of major arcana cards. It's not the time to be impulsive, but to be paused, prepare, gather facts, right? And do it in a very methodical way. Be gentle with yourself, protect your heart, right? And be grounded. Stay very grounded, emotional. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, or share this video as somebody may need to hear it. Now, this is a general reading for the collective. As I always tell you, take what resonates, let go of the rest, and do not force anything. You may find that only a little bit of what resonated with you, take that, right? This is signs from spirit, but this is a general reading. So just take what resonates. And if you want us to look more in depth at your particular situation, I offer private online sessions that can be done from anywhere in the world. And they can be done by video, phone call, or even chat. And we have 15 minutes quick check-in, 30 minutes sweet spot, or the in-depth session at 1 hour, as well as pre-recorded readings, right? So if you prefer your video pre-recorded in a video or audio format, sent directly to your email, you can do that as well. So the information will be in the description, the link to my website or my Gumroad storefront. And like and subscribe to this channel. Get those notifications. We have something almost every day of the week. On Sundays, we have the weekly forecast, right? On Mondays, we have work and career tarot. Tuesday, love and romance. Wednesdays, we have oracle messages. On Thursdays, we look at energy and chakras. And then Fridays, we have the weekend messages. So I hope you join me. Again, I'll see you tomorrow with those weekend messages. Be kind to yourself. Have a gentle rest of your day, and brightest blessings your way.